Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting of St. John Economic Development Committee to order for June 11th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Would everybody please rise and join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Chuck, will you call the roll, please?
Okay, Schultz,
Present.
Moore,
More.
Barry,
Here.
Clark. So we know that Pastor Eric is absent.
Correct.
Ed's here, Chuck Pullen here, and so we've just got the one absence.
Right. Sounds good. Okay, next up is the approval of the minutes of the May 14th meeting. I believe you have them in front of you, and they also were sent out electronically. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, new business spotlight. First up, we have Moda Beauty Bar. We'd like you to come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and then we're going to take a picture with you.
I'm Danny. I'm the hair manager at Moda Beauty Bar in St. John. This is Claudia. She's one of our skincare specialists. Hello. Welcome. We offer a full hair care line of services at Moda Beauty Bar. We also offer on our spa side all skincare services, lashes and brows, massage, spray tanning, teeth whitening.
We also do permanent makeup for the eyebrows, so we kind of can reconstruct people's faces in that way.
And we just added the Japanese head spa, which is a very popular treatment
Oh,
as well.
that's interesting. Does anybody up here have a question for?
What is the Japanese head spa?
So it's essentially like a crown of water. So you lay down on a table and sorry, I'm a little nervous. It drips the water around your whole scalp, and we do lots of like massage, and we wash your hair, and you have options afterwards to get like a blowout added. You can even add a facial to it. So it's just a relaxing head treatment essentially that you can add on special things to.
Do you have time for all of us at 5:30?
Okay, why don't you come on up?
Okay.
Everybody want to go down in front of the podium?
Right up there, and we're gonna, guys with plaque.
Yes. Right up here in this, right by the mayor's spot. Okay? And then we're just going to wrap around you, okay?
Put it in my pocket.
Okay. Is that yours? Okay.
I'll let me put my camera down.
Okay.
One more with those. Okay.
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Well, yeah, both times.
Thank you.
Good luck over there, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
We're expecting at 5:30. Yes.
Yeah, but if you have it, that makes it easier. Yeah.
Joe, it's our bar at 5:30.
Our book, okay. Oh, that works. You just put it in the public records, now we have to go.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Our bar's not here. Jackie, we were thinking maybe when you find out the ribbon cutting, we could bring this to it,
Oh, perfect.
okay?
Yep.
And then let us know.
I will.
Okay. All right, so next up is new old business, Chris Kringle Market. Chuck, are you talking about that? And then the girls are going to talk about the small business.
Sure, we can talk about that. So Amy and I met with Shelby on Sunday, just kind of went over details. The plan is sort of just keep things the way we did it last year, just with a little more time this year. So we'll, start working on that process. I know just talking to Shelby on Sunday, she said that they have new attendees at the farmer's market, new vendors at the market because of how well Chris Kringle went. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah.
And so again, everybody had a great time. No negative feedback. Everything was positive. So I mean, for a first event, I think it went fantastic. So we're just going to kind of keep things the way we did it.
The farmer's market ladies also said that they've already had vendors asking when applications are going to open for the Kris Kringle market. So the vendors are already looking forward
That's
to
great.
it.
So the goal will be to get that in order by the fall so that they can get that out early and just, the earlier the better. So we'll work with with them on getting that out as quick as possible. So that's really about it. I mean, like I said, we went over the details. Everybody was happy with the way things went. No real major changes, just making it bigger and better this year. And then once we start working, how that's going to look and budgets and things like that, we can revisit in the next meetings and talk about what that's going to look like.
What kind of hours are you looking at?
So we are going to try to, we need to get the town, we have to get the
Ordinance.
the ordinance needs to be modified for the event. So we will work on that. We'll probably have to put that together at the next meeting and then present that for the council. And so essentially it will be the same cost, but probably 2 extra hours. Because again, the event happens during the winter. We don't want it to be too long of a day, but we also know that the vendors put a lot of time and effort into setting up and things like that. So we're probably looking at 6 hours this time. Do you remember the hours that you proposed? Was it?
I have the notes from Shelby.
Sure.
We're looking probably at 9 to 2.
Okay. Because
When we started at 10, there were plenty of people walking in at 9 o'clock. And I think the afternoon got less business than the morning.
Yeah.
So we were talking with Shelby about either 9 to 2 or 9 to 3, but I think finishing at 3, we might be finishing in the dark.
I know last year, some people that had bigger
Yeah.
tents, they were getting out right around dark, so.
So I think we might have to just go with 9 to 2.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll be setting up in the dark and the cold. So I think that'll work the best.
So we'll have to get the ordinance modified for the 6 hours. We'll get that done in the next month or two, and then we can move everything forward. So that's really about it.
Okay. All right, now the Small Business Saturday, who's talking about that?
Um,
Are you doing it or is?
That's fine. For the Small Business Saturday at the last meeting, I had said I would put together a solicitation letter that we could send out to local businesses. Everyone should have a copy to look at.
You got it.
We need we need to get started on it because if we want to try and get the list of participating businesses in a flyer that's going to go maybe in the water bills, where we have to get those in
Right.
well in advance. For sure, the water bill will go out at the end of October, so I'm imagining if we want to get that one at the end of October that everyone's going to get the beginning of November, we probably have to have it to them by the end of October. I'm going to assume a month in advance, by the end of September, a month in advance. And, if we want to try and get it in the water bill twice, then we need to back up another 30 days. So,
You had September 1st in here, I think that's great. to do it
that's
that way.
where we were starting with that, just so that was off the top of my head, just thinking about the water bill deadlines for trying to get things in there. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of trying to figure out how we're going to invite all the businesses. I'm going to work with Jackie on getting the letter once we finalize it on an official letterhead. I also noticed that we have a list of St. John businesses in front of you all. A lot of them have email addresses, so maybe we can compile an email address database of all of these and email the letter out instead of doing like hard mailings or having to actually go door to door and drop it off or something like that. We'll have to whittle down through that because there are some businesses that are home-based that I don't think would qualify for the type of event that we're trying to do. So there's just some more work that needs to be done before we can get it out. We need to make sure that our email address works because that's how we were also asking that they respond if they're interested so that we can start compiling a list because we don't know if we're going to get 20 businesses or 200 businesses. So we kind of need to get that information so we can figure out logistically on our end how to make everything work. The idea is still, I think, to have a QR code that on a sign that we would provide. So I don't know if that's just something we're going to print out on a regular sheet of paper and they can tape it in their window, or if it's something that we're going to want to put in a stand. We still haven't figured that out. But the idea is still for them to have to go to the business, scan the QR code, and hopefully with the technology, that'll show that they've essentially checked in at that location. And that way, when they come to the Kris Kringle Market the next day to claim their raffle entries for raffle baskets, we'll be able to verify that they've checked in at the appropriate number of businesses, which we will have to decide once we find out how much interest we have. You know, if we have 200 businesses, we can't make everybody go to 100. So we'll have to figure out what exactly we want them to do to qualify for raffle entries.
The QR code, I think, sounds better, where you don't, no more extra paper. You just scan it and it locks it in that it,
Right, so there's a little bit of back-end tech that needs to happen to get all that sort of
you.
integrated. That's me, right? So we'll figure that out. But yeah, so the idea is it's going to be all sort of electronic and automated. Like you said, no paper. Everything will be sort of, just have a tablet, punch in their information, and it's there kind of thing. So we'll have to work on all that. And we'll present that in a couple of meetings once we get sort of the back end sorted out on that.
I think the solicitation letter is vague enough that we can still get that out now. I mean, they don't necessarily need to know how we're making it all work behind the scenes.
Right.
But while we still work on that, I really would like to, if the solicitation letter can be approved tonight, so that we know it's okay. If we have to do some minor tweaks with dates or email addresses or something, that shouldn't be a problem. But if in general form, it's okay, so that if we can, maybe we can actually get it out before the next meeting so we can start that
And then you
process.
have, too, by September 1st, you'll have a handle on how many have responded by then, which is even, makes it
Right.
easier to figure out what are you going to do.
Well, and if we get
Not as
this
good
out,
as it-
if we can get it out, before July, we may know by our August meeting if we've already got 150 businesses interested.
Right, okay. So you want a motion, what would the motion say?
So we do have to
I
just
would-
make the caveat, though, that we have to make sure the email address is ready. So we can make the motion to do it, but we're not, so I'll have to let you know exactly when it's active and ready.
Yes,
Okay.
no, this is just I would make a motion to approve the general form of the solicitation letter for the Small Business Saturday event, with the understanding that there may be some minor changes with the dates and email addresses before it's actually sent out, and it will also be put on letterhead.
Okay. And who's second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right?
Aye.
No opposed? That's good. All right.
Well, maybe she could, we could get with the clerk treasurer to have her and the Parks Department add it to their social media pages,
Oh.
as well as the emails distribution.
Well, and the other thing that one of the issues we ran into last year is we didn't really have a whole lot of media to use to promote it. Now we have some nice
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah.
and things like that. So we'll definitely work on, coming up with sort of a Kris Kringle Market logo and maybe some pictures to use for promotion, things like that.
We'll need to have them at both events, the small business and the Kris Kringle.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm thinking is we can use that. We'll see even some of the drone pictures or something like that is a nice promotion of, look at how many people come to the event and things like that, so.
Yeah. This will, with all the email addresses that are on here, there's minimal that would have to, I think, go out compared to the whole package.
But also considering how many emails people get, it's probably good to send it out a couple times over a
Right.
couple months.
Right.
So it doesn't get lost.
Yeah. So,
Well, and then there was the topic that we kind of thought about too, with when these individuals come and scan the QR code, are they required to buy something, or are they just scanning the code?
I would think not buy something, depending, because again, some businesses have small ticket and some don't have a service that you can just pick up and leave with. But I would say the one thing that we should do, though, is in addition to the QR code, we should have some sort of write-up about the business. So even if you come in, you at least learn what the business does or what it sells or something like that. So at
Great
least
idea.
that poster should have like a write-up about the business with the QR code that they would submit to us. So that might be something we'd ask them once they sign up, is give us a one-paragraph summary of what you do and, how long you've been in business, your services, things like that. And maybe that would be part of the poster with the QR code for each business.
I think that would be a great idea, and they can provide us with all that information once they express interest. We can
Right.
ask them
Right.
for it.
But like you said, the sooner the better as far as getting stuff printed and things like that, so.
Right.
it starts the interest process.
On that, on the QR code, we could probably have something on there too. not that it would get them any brownie points or any special entries, but like take a photo and hashtag, St. John's Small Business, SJ Small Business Saturday or something like that, and post it on. Just, again, not for any incentive or anything like that, but just like for encouragement.
But there are, so there's services where if you're at an event, you can basically upload or hashtag,
Yeah.
and then that event can share all the photos that came out and things like that. So again, great for us to have media for the future. So yeah, we definitely should integrate something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and if we have parks make it as an event, can't they post, like, once you create the event, can't you hashtag to the event?
Yeah, you can, if you have an
And
event,
then it'll
then,
post under the
right,
event?
that's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. Okay. Reports and correspondence. Pretty much talked about it. Is there anything else anybody else wants to talk about?
Yeah, I think the only thing I just want to mention is we got the community center open house on August 21st.
That's right.
So that, is that 6 o'clock or?
I believe it's
Okay, so it's basically, it's a Thursday evening, so it's a good time, there's not anything else interfering with that, so it's a Thursday evening at the new community center. So we'll find out for the next meeting if they need any assistance from us as far as, just helping with trash or directing traffic, things like that. But the community center is coming along beautifully, and I think it'll be a neat event space for people to come to town and have events, so.
That's good.
I was on vacation last meeting. Did we, I know we were talking about at the prior one, like, is there gonna be any sneak peek for any of us to be able to go in there and see it?
Let's put a TBD on that.
I've talked to Bill about it.
Yeah, so let's put a TBD on that, but let's see if we can do that. I don't know that we can move this meeting to someplace else after the meeting, so I think that's kind of the issue, but.
Oh, okay.
But we can have unofficial sneak peeks, ahead of time. We can work
Yeah.
that out with the town manager, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out. I literally pass it up every day going to work. So
Yeah, well, right-
just to see where it came from
Right-
and what it is now is awesome.
There's nothing terribly exciting right now except for, ductwork and conduits and things like that, but in a few weeks, it'll start taking shape and.
That's the exciting stuff for me. No, I'm joking.
It's also a liability, so we can't, a bunch of people wandering around with their hard hats. So once we get past the liability phase, then people can start taking a look around.
sure.
But yeah, no, it's really coming along, and it's really, so I've been helping with sort of the back-end tech on that with lighting and audio, and
Yeah.
it's really a great little event space, and I think people will really enjoy it, so.
I can't wait to see it. I mean, I can only imagine how great it's going to be. So it's awesome.
How many people at home?
Good, I guess we have to wait and see what the fire marshal says. We'll get the official count, but it's a nice-sized building. It'll handle most, family events, a wedding party, birthday
Showers, that
party,
kind of
showers,
thing.
things like that. But again, it'll be flexible enough where we can have meetings there. We'll have the technology there where you can have meetings and music and whatever else, show movies there. We could possibly have events there. So it's very multi-purpose, and that was the goal, is to have a space that we can use year-round for different purposes.
Good. Anybody else got anything? No? All right, there's no public comment, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?